Penny and Associates. We know it's a rather controversial series, but today in this list I'm going to show you, well, I showed you the top 10 reasons why Penny and Associates is not for kids, and also the top 10 worst Penny and Associates episodes. It's been years since I done that, but in this one, of course, I'm going to discuss about the top 10 best Penny and Associates episodes, as this must be the only time that Penny and Associates is actually good. And those episodes were to prove that they would be better than you think. Number 10. Thomas refused to go to school.
You know what happened? What?
Well, this was the first Penny and Associates episode to even have a backstory alongside it.
Surprise, Magnus.
And yes, this had to be one of the last two episodes to not feature Magnus. And last video 2018 was in Penny and Associates, even though it does not count. So I guess that was the final time we saw Magnus. Magnus and the Magnus 3. There may not be a possibility of when episode 4 will come out because Magnus is nowhere. Now he's going to be replaced by his father, and he's my uncle too. And his name is Mike. Yes. But yeah, from that very backstory on, I guess yeah, this had to be one of those episodes to be reasonable though. Well yeah, this episode also features the thing. Yeah, that thing. It features, you all know what it's gonna be. Get rickrolled. Lol. So, it had to be one of the best Penny and Associates episodes I ever did, though. Yeah, it featured the rickroll. And yet, rickroll people say it may be an overused joke, as it is a never-ending joke. Anyways, let's go on to number 9. Number 9, Suicide Engines, also known as Suicide Engines and Worst Engine Ever. Well, I'll in case go with that. So, this had to be one of the cleverest titles I had on my earlier days, though. How young was I?
What are you guys doing? I'm gonna shoot you in the face.
And this also proves death equal funny, as it actually doesn't, though, as of nowadays, though.
I'll get a gun.
That was probably from, from Penny and Associates Rebirth, where we didn't care about this murder thing. And I had that orange toy gun. And it turns out they thought it may be a real one. And also the fake blood must be the Lego piece. Ah, my camera's bad. Okay. We got on far enough in why this has to be the best Penny and Associates episode to date, though. Let's go over to the reason why, though. Well, cleverest title. There's not really much to say. And it actually has to be a way clever title than the other episodes. Number 8. The cool Roblox is missing. When I first met up with this Jim Reverick, he was first called the cool Roblox, and now he's called Jim Reverick. And which is one of that later retitle, though. And he was originally that Wing Thomas model. And of course, this has to be the best episode I made, though. Of course, this has to be one of the cleverest ones I did. And yet, of course, this featured this certainly has to feature other types of characters, though. And then this is a Smoky Bar prologue. There, how young was Cat? And how young was I? Anyways, I'll try to give this one a pass, so yeah. Hopefully you guys will too. Number 7, Thomas Army.
Penny and her associates. Welcome to the Thomas Army. Yeah.
Well, that was the idea though, because of the merchandising I had. And this plan goes on to this very day.
I am black.
This had to be, of course, one thing.
Like us. Now, that's all you have to do.
Now, this is what the Thomas Army is, though. Line of merch. Hopefully this will happen as of now. But anyways, let's give this episode a D. So, let's move on to the next one. Number 6, Survival Challenge V2. Of course, this is the final time I did the Survival Challenge, and this is probably my own fault. Well, at least, yeah. The last episode to feature this kind of survival challenge, and I tested the camera for my scooter, though. And somehow not anymore, though, because my camera's a bit larger, and something like that. Well, we of course give this a D as well, so yeah, I give this one. So let's move on to the next. Number 5, The Bad, the Good, the Lame. This is based off the term called the good, the bad, and the ugly, and except the ugly is replaced with lame, and the bad and the good was switched over. And of course, the milk truck, though, was featured as the fourth part. And of course, it would be the final episode. The milk truck was torn apart. And it got, I joined it too. Well, yeah. Had to be the best episode I made around, like, 2019 or so. Or at least not. But I at least like to figure. But we'll give this a D. Number 4, Crack Money. Of course, this would be the final episode of Penny and Associates until Rebirth comes around. Yeah, I didn't care about Penny and Associates, though. Just not anymore. Up until that very time, I finally forgive myself about my mistakes. And, yeah, had been wanting to reboot this thing. And, of course, this episode was one of the few episodes that to be released in 2020, though. And one of the few episodes since Bring Your Own Boomer was the first to have my newer camera. And that will be at least better than the old one, and better than the older episodes. So I hope you do. Number 3, Thomas Noodles. Well, yeah, that's the Penny and Associates episodes I've been wanting to talk about, though. Of course, that's what I want to have. So, this would prove that my voice has changed over time, and this would prove my cooking skills, though. I started to cook in a microwave. I'd yet to use a oven, though. Well, from that aside, we also got some bigger reception that here's understandably from Colin Frank Monkey TTT Fantasy 2005. And then we get to Potato, and your camera sucks and your voice is annoying. Stop trying to be TrainBrain06. Well, Potato, if you're watching this, I actually agree with you on the camera. My older videos were awful, but questionable. Awful to people, but questionable to me. But the voice I'm gonna disagree on, as my voice has been proven to change throughout. Number 2, Duck's New Home. Yeah, this has to be one of those best episodes I've done, though. Of course, that must be what I did. And yeah, that was what I just did, though. Well, there's not really much to explain despite it being my favorite Penny and Associates episodes. Just from a good place here. I'm gonna name a few honorable mentions. So Arthur.exe, Worst Thanksgiving Ever, and World Tour in the 100th episode. Now let's go over to number 1, the longest episode to date. And that is
Watch some TV.
PlayStation.
Okay, if you insist.
Yeah, that had to
Wait
be
a
this
minute.
episode, though.
If we do actually
And that was
find
close
women,
to a
that's
100th
gonna
episode.
cost
That's what, of course, it would be. Well, congratulations. This had to be the list of my top 10 best Penny and Associates episodes. The one I'm going to agree on. I know most of these episodes from the modern era are good, but there's one of the there's one from a bad era, which is actually a good one. That's called Suicide Engines. Well, yeah. If you guys are enjoying myself reviewing Penny and Associates episodes, I'm glad to appreciate this. And if you are, sub or you'll lose social credit. Hopefully, you'll be able to understand about Penny and Associates throughout the next time. Hopefully, I'll see you there. Bye then.